Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is episode 2 of the 454 podcast. I was kind of debating what I wanted to talk about today, and I had a couple of different subjects that kind of came across my mind, but I've settled on one because I think it's important. I'm going to try and stay away from the national politics. And on my first go round trying to record this, I still ended up kind of touching on it. I didn't want to, and I'm not going to, not yet anyway. Um, it's not totally relevant yet, but I'm going to stay local. And I think it's important to stay local and focusing in on local politics. Um, this is about vision. Okay. When I was preparing for this, I was looking up the old proverb that I knew since I was a kid. My mom has said it a whole bunch of times. When the leaders have no vision, the people perish. That's a paraphrase of it. It's Proverbs 29:18. It contains that. It's longer than that, but basically the gist of it is that when people do not have guidance from God, the people will lose their morality and they will suffer for it. It's not an exact metaphor, but it's close enough in my book, because we have to have some guidance, some vision as to what we're going to do for Manatee County. And I I called in on the 19th, the big workshop with the stormwater and everything and the comprehensive plan. And I had commented on the heels of two really great comments from Mark Van Ree and Joe DeBartolomeo. Sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to butcher your name. And great points. And Joe brought up a feasibility study. What is feasible for what we're going to do, what we're planning to do? And my comment touched on that. It's like we have to really backwards plan, I said, what we think the maximums are for this county. Because right now we're at about close to 500,000 people, not quite 500,000, but we're close to 500,000. And we've seen a massive influx of people, especially in the last 5 years, like significant growth. And that's great and all, but everybody knows that this has put a lot of stress on our existing systems because the roads and the infrastructure really wasn't designed to handle this many people. So when I said, I pegged my comment to, well, what's the maximum amount of clean water that we can deliver? All right, that's a fair thing, right? In our current infrastructure, we can only service how many people? I mean, the city of Bradenton is leaking half-treated or untreated sewage into the water seemingly every week. Granted, I know they're trying to fix that, and it's not something that's going to be fixed overnight. They've been working on it for some time after getting sued by Suncoast Waterkeeper. But still, the point is that more people moving in is more people flushing toilets and more people putting stress on our lift stations and our sewage system. And it's more people taking up the water that's coming out of Lake Manatee and more people whose wells will be at risk of running dry out east. So where does it stop? We do not live in a world of infinite resources. It feels infinite because it's so vast in comparison to us as little teeny individuals, but it's not infinite. It is finite resources. And the more that we pollute, whether it be phosphate mining or fertilizer that we do on our lawns, or the litter and garbage and air pollution and all the stuff that we do to contaminate our environment, we live in a world of finite resources. So what's the upper limit that our resources can handle? And are you planning to upgrade in the future? Are you going to put another reservoir out east? Are you going to put in another water and sewer plant somewhere? Where are these things going to go? We already have issues with the landfill. We rescued it for about 15 years because Evan Pilichowski is apparently like a wizard or something with that stuff. But still, in a county that has, let's say, 750,000 people, where's all that trash going to go? Where's the second landfill going to be? What are we doing on these things? So where's the vision? Now, I'm going to yank up the future land use map here. One sec. And this is what it looks like. They say this is a future land use. Most of that stuff is green. It's agricultural. Somebody tell me the difference between UF3 and Res 3, because I think you can still put 3 houses on an acre. Anyway, yeah, see this ugly little incursion here of orange, which looks like UF3, Urban Fringe 3. Yeah, that's like East River Ranch and all that other garbage that got pushed through, blowing past the very obvious future development area boundary. The future development area boundary, as you can see, this nice, pretty clean line, mostly clean line, runs north-south. This is County Road 675. Uh, you know, it was effectively nullified a couple of years ago, so that certain developers were able to expand Lakewood Ranch out toward Mayaca. So very uncool, but it is what it is. We're stuck with it. And but okay, well, let's look at this. How many people does this hold in the future? What are we talking about? 750 grand? Nobody ever says what these things are. What is that? Help us work backwards here. So I mean, West Bradenton is basically built out. You know, let me zoom in. Let's go down here. Yeah, I mean, let's see, there's some overlay districts. As you can see, there's some different ones. There's the coastal evacuation zones. Pay attention to those. You know, the airport impact, watersheds, Whitfield, Peace River, Manatee. So you can see the evacuation zones. Oh boy, you can see that overlay right there. This area is basically built all out. You know, it's coming here. This area along El Conquistador, because the nice little tomato farm is gone, and what we're getting is more subdivisions. Great for him, not so great for the rest of us. But anyway, so yeah, what is this going to look like? So this area right now has about close to 500,000 people. I can't imagine what 750,000 people is going to look like here. I can't imagine how you move 750,000 people around this space in a reasonable fashion, meaning under an hour. Because right now it's taking an hour to go from rural Manatee to downtown Manatee. So, yeah, oh God, yeah, trying to get to a town hall in the evening that is out in like Lakewood Ranch or Rocky Bluff, oh God, forget it. I need at least an hour from downtown, or not even West Bradenton actually. So how are we going to take on another 250,000 people on these roads? What's the vision? I don't feel like we really have one. And the comprehensive plan, as we're in the process of updating right now, are we really preparing ourselves to go toward 750,000 people? Or are we just kind of kicking the can down the road? I don't think I ever really got a good answer for that. And I think we really need to press that issue. I don't know. I just feel like we get our heads patted, poo, 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 every now and then when it comes to asking this question, like, what are we doing? What's the limit of our clean water? What are the plans for utilities in the future for the maximum amount of people? Are there actual plans to hook up to the Peace River and put in the pipes, which is going to cost us what, $600 million to $1 billion? When is that supposed to happen? Because the amount of water that we can provide, that the year of the max, I've heard this once or twice at Georgia's town halls. It's creeping up. It's sliding back a little bit more every year. It's shaving off a couple of years. So what's the plan? What is the long-term plan? What does that really look like? I don't know. I think we should ask and be demanding about it. Because there's another plan meeting coming up, and it's I don't feel like that it's a long enough horizon that we're looking towards. I think any comprehensive plan, even though it's being done in 10 to 20-year increments, needs to look toward the long horizon and have preparation for it, because roads are expensive and they're only going to be more expensive in the future. Right now, it costs something like $8 million per lane per mile. But let's use, I don't know, 53rd Street. Because I can't see any kind of expansion to Manatee or Cortez that won't cost $1 billion. All right, those are untouchable. So let's say 53rd, to make a new bridge across to Coquina Beach. How much is that going to cost us? Is it ever going to get done because of the environmental sensitivity of the area? These are good. These are questions that we've got to talk about. But I don't ever feel like maybe we don't have enough time. Maybe we're not getting deep enough into the weeds, publicly anyway, to really hash out these issues. We're relying on Kimley Horn, and they're doing a good job. I assume. I really like the staff that have come from Kimley Horn, and I felt that they were engaging and thoughtful. But I don't know if ultimately the proof is in the pudding as to what they're going to do. Of what they're going to recommend anyway. So, but these are things that I think we need to really think about long term. Our utilities, what is the future utility plan? How much is that going to cost us? Is it feasible to do all of this environmentally? Is transportation? What are we going to have to do to change transportation? What are we going to have to do to make sure that we don't have to take 2 hours to get around the county? Because right now I live 15 minutes from the beach. And sadly, when the season comes in or had come in, I don't know, this year might be a little bit weird because of hurricanes from last year, but when the season comes in, if I don't get out early enough, it takes me 2 hours to get to the beach. And I live not that far from the bridge. So what are we going to do to get people around? What are you going to do to get 1 million people around? Do you have a long-term plan to get 1 million people around? I don't think that we do. And I don't think that 1 million even should be the upper limit. I think it's probably less. It's going to depend on the utilities, I think. Water, clean water. What's the limit of the clean water that we can provide? I think that's the easy one to peg. I'm sure there's other things too, but that's the easiest, clearest one that we can actually quantify and think about it. All right. So I don't know. It's just a ramble, but this is an opinion piece. And thanks for sticking with me as long as you have, if you have. I'll let you guys know when I know what's happening. I know we've got a town hall for Carol Feltz in Mayaca City on the 1st, which is tomorrow as of the day of this publication. And that's in the afternoon. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I know that Commissioner Cruz has his town hall, the monthly one in Palmetto, on the 24th, I believe, at 6 o'clock. And Tal Sadiq should have another one at GT Bray. And I have that on the Facebook page that I'll update my town hall dates here when I'll do that tomorrow or the next day or so. And so that we can get the dates for March, the best dates that we can. So thank you for listening. Talk and engage your politicians. Please keep them from doing stupid things like renaming stuff that doesn't need to be renamed, especially when stuff might get renamed back in 4 years. Let's stop waste taxpayer money on frivolous things like that. Let's focus our actions on a vision for the future that is practical, common sense, and takes into account things that we might not have taken into account into the past. We can't keep making the same mistakes. Okay. So thanks for listening and have a great day.